My mother-in-law is the sweetest, and I couldn't ask for a better woman. She's great with my kids. She's great with everybody's kids. She has taught me some things over the years that I'm thankful for.
Dad set a good example of how a good man should act. When we were teens, and I might have been around either bad influences or maybe I was the bad influence, they decided to move us away. And my dad sold his entire business in the 90s, and so we could move away and live on these farms. And that's where I got my first experience with heavy machinery operating, and then later on I did some more of that Corpus Christi doing construction work. But two farms we lived at it was the two farms we lived on sometimes. Kept helping Michael and I improve on our work ethic. I have absolutely no reason and no issue to complain about my entire upbringing. My mom didn't just do the bare minimum. She homeschooled us, by the way. She would take us on very often field trips. I remember as a young child, about 5th grade, she took Michael and I to a dairy farm. It was Prairie Farms Dairy Farm. And that was the first time I knew that they don't have to manually milk the cows anymore. That was kind of cool. That was promising. So we eventually had a horse, cow, dogs, geese, chicken, a fun and fascinating buggy. Oh, and a Switzerland breed of dairy goat that gave us almost a whole gallon every day. My dad was mostly the unfortunate one to do it for the most part, 2 times a day. We did a lot to Michael and my mom. But I've served my dad as being a master of business negotiating. He has always been like a best friend. I could always count on him. He never did me wrong in any way. At one point, after getting advice from a pastor from a different church, who was teaching how to regain the heart of a rebel, he suggested my dad fast and pray, or maybe take a road trip or something. Do anything it takes to get a bond. But I was just a curious kid. My dad never lost my heart. Anyway, growing up, as far as I can remember, I was never the type to be in your face with disrespect, kind of like my mom was with her parents. She was just a little sneaky, like I was, but for a good reason. I mean, in our mind at the time, it was a good reason. It was so we didn't hurt our parents. We didn't want to put them through that. So we were just a little sneaky. That problem with me, though, is I'm a bad sneak. I was not good. I got caught every time. I think that literally mothers have like a sixth sense. They can catch a little bit of something off and hone in on that. And so I'm gonna skip just that. So while my dad, I've been mostly working with him since I was 12 years old in 1989. I was camping out in my backyard when we lived in the city of Peoria. In the beginning of my summer, age 12, my mom unzipped the backyard tent and said, "Hey, you want to go over to your dad?" It was those exact words. I was so thrilled. I felt like I hit the lotto. I was so excited. Even at 12, making $4.29 minimum wage, I learned how to conserve money, save. Before I was old enough to have a permit to drive, I bought myself a little 1988 Honda Civic with stick shift. Mike Brown, some of you guys might remember him. He was one of my dad's tree helpers over the years. He needed a car and my dad asked me, he said, "You mind selling that to Mike?" So I just, yeah, sure. I sold it to him for what I got it for. And at 16, 18, I said to my dad, "Hey, I trust your life judgment experience. Do you mind being involved with me, helping me find the right car?" Of course he said yes. When I saved the car, I ended up keeping for a decade. I tithed on every dollar I made saving for that. I never hit another car, but many people ran into me real slow, just little finger bitters, little bump here, little bump there. My dad would pull the car into the barn out there in Hartford, and he would just reach behind it, pop that thing out, and I got the $1,200 check here in my hand. So I already know what's written here. So I think 4 or 5 times people hit me early throughout that whole decade. I paid $4,800 for the car when I bought it. since I tithed on that money, I ended up having $5,400 total come back. So I basically had a free car, and I was paying to drive it. You know, that's $4,800 plus whatever is a $5,400. I have. Let's see. I think I scrolled the wrong way. Let me scroll down. Okay, so, okay, when it was all said and done, okay, yeah, that's what. So, including final payout, blah, 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 blah. I would sit here and tell you all kinds of amazing things that my mom and dad have done. We would be here as long as Uncle Joe would. That's a joke. I love this business. Thank you guys for all coming. Thank you so much for coming and being part of my mom and dad's gift. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to try to make up some time.